Well, it's Thursday. It's time for Thursday Papers with Mike and Greg.
Read all about it. Thursday paper. It's almost the weekend. This is the last time you're going to check in. You're not going to read tomorrow's paper. It's Friday. Thursday paper.
What was that? That was a weird inflection. Thursday paper.
I think he realized he ran out and people were starting to come towards him.
Oh, it's your character. I got you.
It's my newsboy character.
All right.
By the way, I didn't tell you this. Owen is going to go back to Chicago after all. To college. Yeah.
This is your son, who's your oldest child, who goes to college in Chicago. A little backstory. Greg helps the story.
Well, he decided that he was going to stay in California and go to school he has to go to school online, but a bunch of his buddies are living there. And he said, why am I going to go there? I'll catch COVID. I'll stay here. I got my own apartment. I got my own car. A bunch of his buddies aren't going back to school, so he's got some friends. He's got a little job at the golf course, making some good dough. He's like, why the fuck would I leave this? But then this morning, he's like, you know what? A bunch of my friends are already there, and they've got a room open in an apartment. It's a 6-bedroom apartment, so COVID safe. And he's like, they're all being really responsible. I want to be in Chicago. I want to feel like I'm at school. So we bought him a plane ticket this morning, and he's going.
So the plane and the 6 bedrooms, it all sounds very COVID safe.
I know. It's insane. It's insane.
So Laura's oldest goes to USC, and it was going to be the same thing. It's from home, but then they opted to get apartments on campus. And listen, it makes total sense. They're being so deprived of this college experience, which, by the way, is being paid for.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I was looking at it as like, we're not going to pay for a dorm, but I'm glad. I'm happy for him. This is a fucking prime. He's 19 years old. Chicago's such a great city. I'm glad that he's going to be there, and we'll just Airbnb his bedroom. Anyway, Thursday paper begins with, of course, corrections. Mike, you fucked up.
Oh no.
Well,
I can't wait.
This guy says, I have loved the pod until now, but repeating discredited stories such as the urban myth of COVID parties is irresponsible.
Okay.
Please do a little bit of background checking before you repeat stuff like this, as there is not one jot of evidence that COVID parties take place, and certainly no actual evidence that anyone died as a result. These stories appear based entirely on Chinese whispers and hearsay.
I don't know if we had to get racist.
So anyway,
do you know what Chinese whispers is?
What is it?
So when I was working on Corden, right, and with all the Brits, so we brought up one of the pitches in the writers' room was some version or variation on the game telephone, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" I can't do a British accent, but like, "What are you talking about?" And we're like, "Telephone, the game where you say it." They're like, "What?" And I'm like, "You say it." The next person, and then the message eventually gets lost in translation. As he's like, "You mean Chinese whispers?" I'm like, "What?" And
no shit.
They have no yes. So a lot of the world calls it Chinese whispers.
Well, I researched it when I got the letter because I want to always grow as a person.
Oh.
And in fact, I was thinking of a story that came out in the New York Times, which said that this guy in his deathbed said to his healthcare worker, I went to a COVID party because I didn't think I could catch it. I guess I was wrong, were his final words. However,
there are certainly COVID parties.
Well, this New York Times story, because it's the New York Times and it is the paper of record and they have journalistic standards, they said in the story that could not be corroborated. So, in fact, this woman, Claire, who wrote in, is correct. I can't 100% stand behind that person died from a COVID party. But have there been COVID parties? I would imagine, yes.
Imagine? No, there are COVID parties. Well, I don't understand her criticism. Like,
No, a COVID party means somebody here has COVID. Let's all get together and we won't catch it.
oh, you're right. I imagine that's happened, but that's not what I thought it was like defiant.
No. There's plenty of parties, but this is specifically to be around someone with COVID to show
like
that you're not going to
exposing them
catch
to
it.
chicken pox.
Or
Yeah,
that you're going to get it
I
and it's no big deal. Also,
Okay.
we got a letter from Mike Mulroy who says, "Hi, guys. Love the Sunday paper so much.
I'm
I
writing
know
to you guys from a COVID party. Love your podcast.
Cough, cough. Can't taste it. I know you Hollywood types are not great at math, but Mike made a very basic mistake on this week's podcast. You said the average Sturgis rider was something like 66 years old.
I know exactly where this is going. Go ahead. I know exactly what he's going to say.
Then Mike said, that means half of the riders are older than 66 years old. Not impossible, but likely wrong. If the median was 66, then you could say half the riders are older than 66, and average does not mean that half are older and half are younger. 5th grade math or thereabouts. So that's it. You guys are the best.
Where's he writing from? Japan? 5th grade's a little advanced for Americans, but I would say the mean amount of Americans learn it in maybe 8th grade. But he's right, actually, because I remember taking statistics. And but the one thing I'll disagree with him on is I think it's more than likely that half are over that. So I think even if the mean age. No, I said even if the mean age is 65 or whatever it is, I think so many are older than that actually there. And
well,
that
the mean means halfway between the lowest and the highest number, right?
Right, but what happens is if
Which
you
means
have
that definitely more are above half.
Right, I think there are a couple of riders in their 20s that throw off the stats a little bit, but I think the real cluster is 65 plus.
All right, thanks, Mike, for the most boring correction of all time. Now let's get to some other mail. Mailbag. Jake Robertson says, "Hello there, Greg and Mike. Huge fan. Love what you do. I seem to have a crush on these guys, is what I find myself thinking, even though I'm a straight man. It happens. It happens. I've seen it happen.
That's what happened to Joan.
As Trump would say, a lot of people are saying this. I'm no expert, but neither was the other guy. Power lines have the ability to use AC current or DC current. I would logically think in my head that the whole area of the prison, this was a story where we said that the lights dim in some towns when they electrocute somebody.
Yeah, in the pub, it famously did dim.
And then some guy wrote in and said, impossible, that they only use DC power and they charge up their station before they, whatever.
And the town would be AC power and be unaffected.
Yes, bars would use AC and the electric chair would use DC, but there would just be a transformer in between to change it from AC to DC when it gets to the electric chair. This is possibly causing all areas around to dim for a moment when the execution would happen.
Good Lord, these are the most boring letters. What is the mean electricity voltage? Ohms?
Yeah. Look, we're already almost halfway through our Thursday paper, so let's get to it.
Okay, everyone, listen. Get down on the floor and give me one push-up. I saw a guy I wrote one comedy, did his one push-up inspired by me. Do some exercise. We got a 10 or 12. We got a 12-minute sprint here. Get something done while you listen to this.
Okay, here we go. This is the movie review. In this case, it's not a movie at all. It's a TV show.
What do we got, Gregory?
I finally watched it. You've been telling me to watch it for the last 3 weeks, and I did. It's called Love on the Spectrum.
Oh, my God.
On Netflix. And I got to tell you, Mike, it is one of the most beautiful shows I've ever seen.
So you're not through with it yet? Because it's not long.
We watched 5 episodes in one night.
I think
Could not stop watching.
I think you only have one more. The guy, Michael.
Oh, my God. He's so great.
He's so articulate and so loving. Oh, my God.
Well, tell people the premise of the show.
The premise of the show is these people with, did you see how they pronounce it? Asperger's?
Well, they have autism, and some forms of autism is Asperger's.
Right. So they're on
But
the
it's a
spectrum.
British show, so they say Asperger's.
It was very impressive how, they're all incredibly knowledgeable because it is something my daughter did a report on it, and to learn, about the spectrum and how everyone it presents differently. There's no two people who present the same and all that stuff. So anyway, they educate you with that, but it's people looking for love. They want love in their lives. It's as simple as that. And then there are these matchmakers who have worked with people on the spectrum, and the one was a speed dating night that they had set up, and others were just individual dates. And of course, even as I'm saying this, I'm afraid people will get the impression that it's exploitive, or that in any way there should not be speed dating set up for people who are on the spectrum. And within minutes, you're incredibly comfortable. Instantly, you're incredibly comfortable watching this, and the show is in such good hands. Nothing feels exploitive about it.
And it's beautiful because there are, although under Asperger's or under autism, there are so many different, that's why they call it the spectrum, is there's no one type of person. They can display different personality traits, strengths, weaknesses. But what it comes down to mostly is an inability to read other people and to have appropriate reactions to what most people would be able to take in and understand.
And that's why in Philly, their stadium is called the Spectrum, because all of those mentally disabled people have no ability to read what's proper or even human, the animals. Go ahead.
And that's it for the Thursday Papers. Thanks for tuning in. So, and I'd work with the best buddies a lot, and there is something so incredibly refreshing about being around people that tell you the fucking truth. There is not a false note that comes out of their mouths. If they think something, they say it. And if it feels like, and if there's a pressure to be polite, they're not. They're not necessarily polite people. But once you get over that, you suddenly are more comfortable around them than you're around anybody else in the world.
Yeah, no, you just see, we talked about it, but I wish I had jotted down more lines. But I mean, it was as simple. The best line to sum it up kind of is like, they would be on dates, which are incredibly awkward for everybody. It's a first date. There's so much judging, not in a negative way, but judging and calculating. And is this a fit? Is there even chemistry? And then it's like, well, how are you doing? It's like, well, a little nervous. I'm wondering if you'd like me.
Yeah.
Which it would take me so long to, it's so, what's the word? It's like, I'm so conditioned, and I'm so sort of, it's so unconscious. It was like that time I told you a therapist goes, what are you feeling? And it was very hard for me to strip away my reactions, how I'm feeling, my compensations, all of these things to get down to how I was really feeling. Like, to get there, I don't even know if I would have been able to identify that.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, it's anxious because it's a first time. Like, I wouldn't have been able to articulate, this is why I'm nervous. It's this simple.
It's that simple. And one guy comes out of a date, the guy, John, that you're talking about, he comes out of a date with a woman who says to him at the end, and they're all very clear. There's no fear of conflict. At the end of the date, one of them will say, would you like to get together again? And often the person will say, I really like you as a friend, but I don't see this becoming romantic. And then there's never like a conflict. They always go, okay, well, let's stay friends. Let me get your number. And it's totally cool, except for that time where he walked away and his father was there and they talked a little bit. And then he just went, I'm sad. And it was so heartfelt. It was so like, that's all he felt. He just felt sad. And he wanted to sit with that for a little while.
Right.
And it made you feel like everything was going to be okay. Because for most of us, getting to I'm sad, not fuck her, or
no,
I deserve better, or any of the, just I'm sad.
What do you, don't be sad. Go home, get on the computer, publicly call her a stupid slut, and out her for being so stupid that you paid for.
Yeah.
No. What does he do? He admits he's sad.
Yeah.
What an idiot.
Oh, my God. And the thing that people don't understand is people with autism don't have lower IQs. Many of them are brilliant, and most of them are as high functioning intellectually as anybody else are. They just have a hard time interacting.
That's why I have to be careful. Go ahead. Sorry.
And you watch it and you start to go, fuck, I think I'm a little on the spectrum, like running out of things to say and being, all the things that we all go through. And, while the other person is talking, sometimes they would go, what's the matter? And they would go, oh, I'm sorry, I was just spacing out. And they go, oh, okay, I do that too.
No, I lost my thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, totally. And I have to watch what I say because it sounds like, and admittedly, I am sometimes impressed with how self-aware they are, but that's a blind spot I have. But what it is there's also this at play. I am not actually handicapping them, so to speak, using the word literally. I am not like doing that. What I'm doing is I'm putting myself up against it like I just described. I am so self-unaware that I'm impressed with anyone who's that self-aware. It's not that, they have their brain isn't as sharp as mine. That's why I'm so impressed. It's not that at all. It's that my brain isn't that sharp, or attuned and in tune with what I'm feeling.
And it really does, again, and as a comedian, I see so many comedians so happy with themselves that they're not politically correct and they say retard and they say it again and again and then they get shit about it and they double down about it and it becomes this whole I'm not woke because I say this. How about this? Just don't fucking say it and don't make jokes about them. Why don't you try to understand people are different than you and they've got challenges that you'll never have that they overcome in courageous ways, and then you stand on stage and shit on them? I fucking always hated when comics do jokes about intellectually disabled people. Don't pick a fucking victim who deserves it in comedy. That's all I ask.
Totally. You got to punch up. So, all
right, speaking of which, let's punch up on this week's Crossword Puzzle.
Oh, I thought we were going to talk about the show Alone.
We don't have time.
Oh, because I was going to say Alone on the Spectrum. That's the new show that you and I should develop. Put these beautiful souls out in the crazy wild where they're going to die. Because I already watched the biggest He-Man check out.
Wait a minute. So wait, did I talk about Alone yet? I did,
yes,
right? Okay.
You did.
So what was your reaction to it?
I loved it. And then the guy I would have bet would not have been first was first to go.
Yeah.
So it's
not
really
even for physical reasons, right? That's the guy who left for emotional reasons?
No, although he did cry and apologize to his family. No, he ate a bad mongoose or
right.
something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm very into it. Okay, so what do we got? What do we have
here
now?
we got the crossword puzzle. This week's theme. Last week we mentioned, I don't know how Christy McAuliffe came up, the astronaut teacher who went into space with 6 other astronauts and blew up. So this week's, and again, pick your victims in your comedy. 12 down. This is the Christy McAuliffe edition of the crossword puzzle.
Okay.
Based on emails that we got from you guys that we put into the crossword puzzle.
So we remembered, but I said, remember all the vicious jokes that went around? Because we were like, what were you, a freshman in college?
Freshman in college,
something
1986.
Like and all these just dumb jokes went around.
12 down. 12 down. What were Christy McAuliffe's last words to her family? 4 letters. You feed the dog, I'll feed the blank.
I happen to know this. Go ahead.
Fish.
So dumb. Okay.
21 across. This is 2 words. Why do NASA engineers always drink Coke? Because they can't get blank. 2 words.
Sadly, I remember this one too.
7 Up. They can't get 7 Up.
It was such a tragedy. These jokes were out the next day.
The next day. The next, and this was before the internet could disseminate the jokes at warp speed. This was actually people getting on the phone and then going to their water cooler. These were water cooler jokes.
Yeah.
39 down. This one's even hard to say. What color eyes did Christy McAuliffe have? 4 letters.
We had a beautiful podcast about love on the spectrum.
Wait,
and now, okay, go
you're
ahead.
Freezing.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
All right, go ahead.
What color eyes did Christy McAuliffe have? 4 letters. Last one is E. It's blue. One blue this way, one blue that way.
Well, I think the last letter might be W then, but okay. Here are a couple of other ones, if you probably remember. I'm not even going to put them. I'm not going to do the pretense of a crossword.
Come on, do the pretense of the crossword puzzle.
Now I have to think on my feet and do that.
Just say 38 down.
38 down. Where did Christy McAuliffe spend her vacation? All over blank.
All over Florida?
Yes. See? How many astronauts can you, I don't know why it's termed this way. How many astronauts? Say 8 across. It doesn't make any sense. How many astronauts can you fit in a Volkswagen Bug?
7? You put them in the ashtray?
Basically. It was more math than that. I think 11, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, 7 in the ashtray.
Yeah.
What does NASA stand for?
No astronauts stay in the air.
Wow. That was fast. It's need another 7 astronauts.
Ah.
But I like your fast thinking. So then, after a friend of ours, a mutual friend, the old man Jack was...
What's up, Jack?
Jackie Kidd lives in Wyoming. I went to high school with Jack, and then he went to Vermont, and we were in Boston anyway. We spent a summer together, and I guess I was with him around when this happened. Let me dig up the email here.
Let me guess. Jack was a Fish fan, wasn't he?
Well, I wouldn't say we all loved the Dead, but Fish was this tiny, nowhere band that played, I think...
Played the Paradise a bunch of times.
Well, they came down there. So their first trip to Boston kind of didn't set out to do the goal. And then that's what plagued them their whole career in a way, which is they were coming to play Boston for the first time because I think they played a place called Finbar's, might have been the first bar. I'm sure I have it wrong, but it's a bar in Burlington, Vermont. And all of UVM would go see them, and they had this crazy following. So then Jack's like, hey, we're coming down to Boston. Our local band, remember the Bubba? Yeah, sure. They're going to play Boston because they're widening their circle. Well, no one in Boston could see them because everybody from University of Vermont bought up all the tickets in Boston.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Because Vermont followed them to Boston.
Oh, my God.
But then he goes, this is the joke Gibbons told all summer that first year. I'd ask, I have no memory of this. I'd ask, do you want a drink? I'm like, do you want a Challenger? I'm making drinks. You want a Challenger? And they'd be like, what's that? And it was 7-Up and a Splash. That was my material that summer.
And that's what
I went with.
Oh, wait. Before we go, one last section of the paper. It's Dear Abby, another advice column. You know, on Sundays we do Ask Amy, and on Thursdays we do Dear Abby.
Am I reading you Dear Abby?
And by the way, should we promote that this Sunday's episode of Sunday Papers is going to be taped and broadcast from Catalina Island off of Long Beach, California.
Marilyn Monroe lived there.
That's right. And there are what animal are out there? Elk or something?
Bison.
They
brought them out there for a movie shoot and then left them. I'm not kidding.
Like 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So wait, what Dear Abby? Because I'm trying to think if I got one.
You told me you had a Dear Abby.
Should I read you the same one and see if you have the same reaction?
No.
Hold on. Do I have one? Let me see here. Oh, okay. Sure. I'll read this. Dear Abby. This is a real Dear Abby. My husband's mother recently told him he no longer matters to her. Because he is an atheist.
Oh.
His mother is supposedly a Christian, but she rarely acts like one. It has left my husband devastated and feeling more lonely than ever. It infuriates me, but I don't think it would be right for me to step in and talk to her directly. How do you deal with a narcissist who constantly plays the victim, even after all the support you've given to her financially and emotionally? Signed, supportive wife in Alabama.
Wait, did you say she's a Christian?
The husband's mother claims to be a Christian, but the wife here is saying that she hardly acts like one. But
I
she's
say, here's
broken
what
off
you do.
ties.
You get a white sheet, and you're in Alabama, so it's not hard to find a white sheet.
It's hard to find one without holes in it.
And you hang it up in the backyard at night, and then you get a couple flashlights and some spooky sounds, and you tell her, look, God's in the backyard. And then you have a little speaker, and you say, this is God. You should be better to your son. Oh, wait, hold on. I got a phone call. Should I take this?
Yeah. Definitely interrupt that bit.
It's Judd Apatow. Oh, I missed his call.
Wow. A celebrity call?
I know, that would have been fun. Should I call him back and get him on Sunday Papers?
Of course, call back Judd Apatow. I want to know how to watch King of Staten Island.
You want to know what?
Is it available again? When I went to watch
he'll tell you.
there was a window. Of course, call back. What, you're going to do your Ghost Alabama bit over Judd Apatow? Are you insane?
I tried to answer. But...
Hey, we're over 20 minutes. Sorry, Judd.
Watch, he doesn't answer me now.
He answers with something racist.
Hey, man. Wait, you're breaking up. Where are you, Malibu?
Malibu, where I've been sent.
You got to tell him.
You're
right
on
away.
the. I'm doing the Sunday Papers podcast right now, and you're on it. You just called into it.
I did?
Yeah.
Was I supposed to prepare material?
Well, I mean, our last story that we talked about was Christy McAuliffe, so you've had a lot of time to prepare material.
I don't know that story.
You know, Christy McAuliffe, she was the
School
teacher astronaut that blew up in space back in 1986.
How did you get to that?
Our readers, they ask for stories sometimes, and we try to honor them with material, tried and true material.
What, does he think it's a bad comedic idea? What does he know?
You're threading the needle. You're walking a fine line.
Yeah.
In a delicate age, you're going for the subjects. You're not making it easy on yourself, but I respect that.
No, we are not making it. Believe me. Have you listened to the Sunday podcast yet?
I did. I watched you dance around many difficult subjects. I don't listen for the jokes. I listen to just hear terror in your voices as you dip your toe into difficult subject matter, wondering if it will ruin you.
It's not much to ruin.
It's called being 54 years old and knowing that there's not that much dirt left on the outfield warning track.
Exactly.
Tell him I'm asking how to watch King of Staten Island.
Oh wait, so Mike Gibbons is on, and he's asking how do people watch King of Staten Island?
Because when I went to
hasn't seen
try
yet.
it was no longer available.
Well, at this point, after my multi-month publicity campaign, if that information has not reached him, I'm in trouble.
He said he tried to log on, and
No, I tried to buy it, but then there was a window where it wasn't
and
available.
there was a window that said it wasn't available.
I think basically what the advice I would give him is that there's a product. It's called Apple, and it'll say, "Do you want to buy this?" And you pay for it with Apple Pay. You give Apple your credit card, and everything in your life should be done through Apple. Basically,
Yeah.
they should be your healthcare provider. They should be
Marriage counselor.
anything you want is really on there. So just I don't know. Maybe he's not a Mac guy. But I think if he jumps to Mac, you'll be able to see the King of Staten Island. Or, there's this other place. It's called Amazon. And there's like a picture of Pete, and you click on it, and then you already own it. You didn't even mean to buy it, but you clicked, and then it's too late. You already paid.
All right,
And
I'm with Brody Stevens now. I resent Judd.
And-
I was trying to set him up with a slam dunk promo.
Oh, he can't hear you. All right, Judd, let me call you back. We're almost done.
I wish you luck with the rest of it. I hope you make it through.
Thanks for calling in. God bless. Our first guest.
All right.
Bye.
Fuck Judd. I'm with
Well,
Brody. Who
I don't
Judd
understand.
cut Brody
It
out of
can't be that
funny
hard
people.
to download the movie. Only 3 movies a month come out at this point.
No, there was something, and I'm probably wrong, but when I went to buy it, there was a tiny window where I think it was sort of its sneak peek thing. Maybe I wasn't on Apple and I was on Amazon. And then it was like, do you want to pre-order it?
Yeah.
So there was something going on.
Okay.
I know how to watch movies.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Mike, you also know how to do a Thursday paper. We went long again. We went 10 minutes long. That's extra content for you guys.
People are on the treadmill just resenting the shit out of us.
And now on Sunday, again, coming to you from Catalina Island with our very first ad. We put it out to you guys. We don't have our agent yet getting us advertising, and we are, hemorrhaging. Hemorrhaging money.
It's a very homegrown ad. That's for sure.
So we'll do a homegrown ad. If you want to email us, fitzdogradio@gmail.com. We've already got 3 ads lined up. We're doing our first one on Sunday, and we'd be happy to do one for you. So that's it. All right. Thanks to all the people that help us with this show. Chris Denman out of St. Louis. He's part of Midcoast Media. Does a great job. Beth Hoops, also part of that organization. And we'll catch you guys next time.
Take it easy.
Wrap it up.
See
Put
you
it under
Sunday.
your bike while you oil the chain.
Ooh, I like that one. Have we
That's
done
it.
paper mache? Paper mache, some chicken wire. That's
Make
weak.
anything.
Yeah,
All right. Thanks for listening, Mike. I'll see you on Catalina.
you got it. Take it easy.
God bless.
Leaving the meeting.
Well, it's Thursday.